Little by little, the department took shape. One day, at the entrance to the temporary classroom, Zhang Depei set eyes on the famous Lin Huiyin for the first time.
我一看，哎呦，就是一亮，那个人呢给人的感觉，你要看到他就知道了，一看一亮，就在脸前一亮，他也不施粉，也不抹胭脂，也不什么东西，可是他一穿起了衣服来，一站起来，你就感觉，哎呦，这人很高雅，很高贵，就 very attractive。
林先这个气质上还是看出来。 跟电视剧上那个差距比较远。现在这批年轻的，他很难，他也没见过林徽因，很难理解林先当时的他的思想感情所以也只能说最多学到一点皮毛或者什么，这个思维快得不得了，你有时候要跟着他走，都跟着他思维走啊。 有时候都很难。梁先本来是很幽默、很会讲，但是梁林在一起的时候，中心常常还在林，而不在梁。
In early 1947, with the new department's first semester completed, several members of the Society for the Study of Chinese Architecture arrived to augment the teaching staff. Among them were Liao Zhiping, Mo Zhongjiang, and Luo Zhiwen. Among the skills covered by the department in its foundation course was the design of classical style columns, a style that had been popular in Paris before the war. Subsequently, however, while China had been isolated artistically by the war, in the West, modernism had gained considerable popularity. Modernism as a trend originated in the early 20th century. It was first seen in the development of new materials for industry such as glass and steel that revolutionized traditional approaches to applied architecture. Things that had been impossible in the past were now possible. Modernism was diametrically opposed to classicism, which, it was argued, not only limited the development of architectural form and language, but, more importantly, restricted the imagination of architects. Modernism as a design revolution began with Bauhaus in Germany, made its way to the United States during the Second World War, and quickly came to dominate education at academies around the world.
Bauhaus method denied history. They were not interested in history. They would not study these books. And the way to learn architecture was to sit in your room with no references and to invent something. That's to be inspired, to be a genius. In the Beaux-Arts system, they taught you how to use things, and if you were a genius, you could actually achieve great works. And if you were an ordinary architect, like most architects, you could do very good buildings because you knew a lot.
Modernism had a huge impact on architectural education worldwide. Yet some scholars were skeptical about its value. The curricula at China's colleges need to be updated. They are more about form than practical use. To me, the curriculum established by Walter Gropius at Bauhaus Universität Weimar should be used as a reference. In the autumn of 1946, Liang Sicheng left for the United States, where he would study the latest international trends in architecture. But his visit coincided with a very delicate moment in the diplomatic relations between the two countries. In China, the peace that had come with the end of the war against Japan was about to be shattered by a civil war. And so Liang Sicheng returned to the United States, a country he had left almost 2 decades before. He and his future wife, Lin Huiyin, had been in the United States at a time when their chosen subject of study, architecture, was virtually unknown in China. They'd spent half of the intervening 20 years travelling and investigating, and the other half writing. This time, Liang Sicheng came as a celebrated historian of Chinese architecture. He would be the first expert from China in the field to lecture at a foreign university. Liang Sicheng lectured on Chinese architecture at Yale University. In 2006, while sorting through its archives, the university's Audio-Visual Center found more than 400 slides used by Liang Sicheng in his lectures.
Well, welcome to the Visual Resources Collection. The Liang Sicheng collection of lantern slides and photographic prints has been here since 1947. They were made for Liang Sicheng for his own teaching purposes during his time at Yale in 1947.
我们希望就是说，借由整理这批材料，然后借由开课跟鼓励研究生做研究，在未来呢，能够更注意的一个是全球化的角度，讨论梁先生不能只放在中国的一个角度，是应该跳离开中国的一个角度。
Architect/architectural historian. Got his,
Nancy Schatzman-Steinhardt has been teaching Oriental architecture for many years. In the 1970s, while studying at Harvard, she was a student of John Fairbanks. Almost every weekend, the professor held a tea party for visiting scholars and students of Chinese studies.
I think one of the first times I met her, probably September of 1974, Wilma realized I was interested in Chinese architecture and said, "Oh, have you ever heard of Liang Sicheng?" And I said, "Of course I've heard of Liang Sicheng. Everyone interested in Chinese architecture has heard of him." She said, "Well, I knew him extremely well."
Nancy Schatzman-Steinhardt is today a leading authority in the field of Chinese architecture. In conversations with her many years ago, Wilma Fairbank often mentioned Liang Sicheng and Lin Huiyin, her close friends in China.
For the eminent Chinese architect Liang Sicheng, 1947 was a year of highs and lows. In the United States, he received a rare honor from a leading university. But the health of his wife, Lin Huiyin, was causing considerable concern. Back in China, he returned to teaching at Tsinghua University. How did his students respond to their famous professor? Please watch the 11th part of Liang Sicheng and Lin Huiyin.